The UK is preparing to roll out a bold new budget, and the mood is surprisingly optimistic. It's as if someone finally found that one missing sock and now everything feels possible. But what's driving this confidence? Is it justified, or are we just caught up in a collective case of wishful thinking? Let's break it down. First, the good news. The UK economy has shown resilience despite global headwinds. Inflation is cooling, unemployment remains low, and consumer spending has held steady. It's almost like the economy had its morning coffee and said, you know what? Let's turn this around. The Chancellor is reportedly set to announce measures that aim to strike a balance between growth and fiscal responsibility. Of course, balancing a budget in the modern economy is a bit like trying to hold a plate of spaghetti in one hand while answering the phone with the other. It's messy, but apparently the UK is ready to give it a go. The budget will likely focus on key areas like infrastructure investment, support for small businesses, and measures to address cost of living challenges. Infrastructure is one of those things we all forget about until a pothole sends your car flying like a scene from an action movie. So, investment here? Definitely a win. On the business side, there's talk of tax incentives for innovation and entrepreneurship. Translation? The government wants startups to thrive because, let's face it, nobody wants a doom and gloom economy where your biggest innovation is figuring out how to survive another rent hike. One of the boldest moves being hinted at is increased spending on green energy projects. This is fantastic news for the environment and a clear sign that the UK is thinking ahead. Plus, who wouldn't want a future where their heating bill doesn't make them cry? Renewable energy investments could also create thousands of jobs, giving the economy a much-needed boost. And maybe, just maybe, we'll all stop arguing about wind turbines ruining the view. Then there's the ongoing challenge of the housing market. If you've ever tried to buy property in the UK, you know it's about as easy as winning the lottery. The government may address this with new initiatives to make homeownership more accessible. Although, let's be real, they'd have to pull off some serious magic to make housing in London affordable, without the word being in air quotes. Another area to watch is healthcare funding. The NHS is one of the UK's greatest achievements, but it's been under strain for years. If the budget includes significant investment in healthcare, it could be a game changer for millions. And hey, maybe it'll mean fewer headlines like NHS waiting lists hit new. But let's not forget, a bold budget always comes with risks. Critics argue that increased spending could lead to higher deficits, or that tax incentives might not generate the expected returns. It's like going all in at a poker table. Sure, you could win big, but you could also end up explaining to your friends why you're eating instant noodles for the next month. One major factor driving optimism is the broader global economic outlook. While challenges remain, like rising geopolitical tensions and climate concerns, the global economy has shown signs of recovery. It's almost like the world collectively agreed to stop doom scrolling for 5 minutes and focus on solutions. But let's not kid ourselves. There's always the chance for surprises. Remember the mini-budget fiasco in 2022? It was like the economic equivalent of a toddler trying to drive a car. Exciting for a moment, then terrifying, and eventually a total disaster. The hope is that this time, the government has learned from past mistakes. So, what should the average Brit expect from all this? Well, if everything goes according to plan, you might see improvements in public services, a more stable economy, and new opportunities for growth. If it doesn't go as planned, well, we've all gotten pretty good at saying, maybe next year. But let's be optimistic for a moment. The UK is at a critical juncture, and this budget could mark the start of a brighter economic future. It's as if the nation has collectively said, let's stop surviving and start thriving. Of course, only time will tell if these measures live up to the hype. But hey, at least we're not talking about another Brexit drama. Remember when that was all anyone could talk about? Good times. Outro. Thanks for tuning in to today's discussion on the UK's bold budget plans. What do you think? Is this optimism justified, or are we just setting ourselves up for another round of expectation versus reality? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends to keep the conversation going, and subscribe for more updates on all things economy, politics, and beyond. After all, staying informed is the first step to staying ahead. See you in the next video.